So in the last class, we have discussed about the coal mine explosion, and you know that there are two types of explosions are there in coal mines. One is methane explosion, the other one is called your coal dust explosion. And this coal dust explosion can be uh, taken care by stone dusting. We have discussed that the stone dust can be used for neutralization of coal dust, is not it? The coal dust is very combustible material, and whenever there is a sufficient amount of coal dust is present in the mines, and if there is an ignition source is there, then the coal dust can explode and coal dust explosion can take place. So to prevent this coal dust explosion, stone dusting is done. Stone dust is used to neutralize the coal dust explosion. So what is a stone dust? What is a stone dust and how the stone dust is used in the mines for neutralization of the coal dust? In the previous class, we have seen the uh, stone dust can be used manually to spray over the sides of the gallery, over the roof of the gallery, so that the coal will not be allowed to expose to the outer environment. So that is called your stone dusting, and it can be done manually. Machines are nowadays available by the help of which the stone dust can be sprayed. The stone dust can be sprayed uh, in the mines, in the galleries, to cover the coal dust, so that explosion is not going to take place. And mm, for that purpose also, you can construct the stone dust barriers in the mines, in the coal mines. Stone dust barriers are constructed, so that in case of any coal dust explosion, in case of any methane gas explosion, so the stone dust barriers will break and spread the stone dust around the mine, and quench the fire and extinguish the fire, and uh, break the speed of the waves, the explosion waves. The speed can be reduced, or the fire can be extinguished by use of the stone dust barriers. So besides the stone dust barriers, we have also discussed water barriers. Water is used in the mines for the extinguishing the coal mine explosion fires. Similarly, trigger barriers are also used in the mines for extinguishing, for reducing the risk of explosion in the mines. And the stone dust is the most important dust used in the mines for the control of methane gas explosion, as well as to control the coal dust explosion. So this stone dust uh, uh, is taken to the underground mines and sprayed in the working phases, so that the coal dust will not be exposed to the environment, and the stone dust will neutralize the coal dust, so that uh, uh, there will be no explosion in the mines. So the stone dust barriers are of two types. We have discussed: Polish made and German made. Two types of stone dusts are stone dusting barriers are there. Stone dust barriers are of two types. One is German make, German shelves, and the other one is here Polish, Poland shelves. So in India, we use the Polish stone dust shelves. So let us see what are the advances uh, has taken place. What are the advances has taken place in stone dusting? In stone dusting. Okay. So advances in stone dusting. So today I am going to talk about and show footage relating to the basics about the stone dust, about methane and coal dust explosions, about some information within this presentation is all known by the coal industry. It has been included to provide a summary of how various elements interact. So what is stone dust? Stone dust or calcium carbonate. The chemical name of stone dust is calcium carbonate. It is used in underground coal mines as a primary inert material. So the stone dust is an inert material in the prevention of coal dust explosion. To prevent coal dust explosion, stone dust is used as an inert material, inert agent. So the application of dry stone dust. The application of dry stone dust creates large quantities of airborne dust along the ventilation circuit, requiring the extraction of in by personnel. In a methane explosion, a pressure pulse travels through the immediate area of the mine. This wave raises any dust into suspension, both coal and stone dust. Areas treated with adequate quantities of stone dust will render the dust cloud inert, and a coal dust explosion will not occur in your mines. So that is the novelty of stone dust application in coal mines. So what is methane? Also we have discussed what is methane uh, and what are the properties of the methane and what is methane gas explosion. So the ignition of methane in an underground coal mine is though not very common but does occur sometimes. So friction sparks from continuous minor phases and shearer drum picks have provided ignition sources for methane gas explosion. Other potential sources are cable flashes, belt friction, heating, and open fires in the mines can ignite the methane gas and cause the methane explosion in your underground coal mines. Given the right conditions, a methane explosion itself is most explosive at 9% general body of the mine air and has deadly consequences. You know that the lower limit of explosibility of methane is 5% and the higher the upper limit of explosibility of methane gas is 15%. But if the methane percentage in the general body of the mine air is 9%, then it is very explosive in nature and it has deadly consequences. The following footage is a weaker explosion that compares to a typical 10-meter overdrive allowed to accumulate a methane concentration of only 7.5%. The following footage is a weaker explosion that compares to a typical 10-meter overdrive allowed to accumulate a methane concentration of only 7.5%. If an ignition source is present, if an igniting source is present, ignition source is present, so there would be explosion in the mines. So 7.5% methane explosion. Let us see how the explosion takes place if the methane concentration is 7.5% in this experiment. This is in this experiment. Let us see how the 7.5% methane explosion how it can explode. Okay. So this is the experimental gallery. This is the experimental gallery used for methane explosion experiment. Okay, so this is the diameter of the gallery. This is the diameter of the gallery where the experiment is conducted. So your 7.5% methane explosion, how it take place, let us see. So this is the gallery. This is the gallery. Okay. And we are using the coal dust for the explosion purpose. So minimizing the make of coal dust and reducing float dust is an ongoing challenge for all coal operations. Minimizing the make of coal dust and reducing float dust is an ongoing challenge for all coal operations. Areas that were stone dusted once, if left unmaintained, accumulate coal dust deposits, providing fuel for an explosion to propagate. Only 4 to 5 millimeters of dry dust will be lifted in a weak methane explosion. The more float dust accumulated, the less of the underlying stone dust will be lifted. We saw that a methane explosion creates a fireball that travels behind the subwave and hits the dust cloud. Insufficient quantities of stone dust in suspension will allow the coal dust to ignite, will obvious catastrophic consequences. So this is the experimental gallery. Coal dust explosion, 1 kilogram. So this coal dust explosion of 75 kg So the stone dust can be used at wet stone dusting by water. By using water, the stone dust can be wetted, which is called a wet stone dusting. So wet dusting was always viewed as an opportunity to help overcome reductions in cutting times due to stoppages caused by stone dusting. The onset of 7-day operations compounded the problem, and attempts were made to apply stone dust as a slurry. This allowed crews to continue production, while wet dusting was carried out in the ventilation intakes of the panels. Wet dusting is a process of creating a stone dust, water slurry, and pumping it onto the mine's walls. The intent was to replicate the conventional dry dusting without the need to withdraw in by personnel. So why wet dusting does not work? Sometimes your wet dusting does not work. Why? The application of wet dusting was proven, however, the final product failed to provide adequate innerting qualities. When stone dust comes in contact with water, the particles partly dissolve. As the slurry dries, the dissolved solution moves between the stone dust particles, forming a bonding bridge that locks the particles together. This is referred as the caking effect. This is referred to as the caking effect. This caking reduces the amount of stone dust raised into suspension, creating enough doubt on its effectiveness as an inerting agent. Mine inspections rightfully issued directives restricting the use of slurry dusting in underground coal mines. So explosion testing is carried out by the help of this tube. This is the tube. By the help of this tube, the explosion testing is carried out. So the testing facility comprises of a 200-meter steel pipe, 200-meter steel pipe tunnel that has a methane mixing station and ignition center, one end, and the other end is open. In the other end, it is kept open. So these are the stone dusts. These white powdery form, these are stone dust. So the explosion testing trays, these are the trays. Explosion testing trays. Trays were prepared prior to testing. Prior to each test explosion, trays were weighed and secured into the tunnel. After the blast, the loss of stone dust from each tray was recorded. High and low speed video footage captured each blast. So this explosion testing, these are the trays, stone dust trays. On an average, the depth of dust lifted by the explosions also varied. 4 to 5 millimeter in the case of the dry dust trays. In most cases, the aero dust trays were empty, 30 millimeter. So this is regarding some of the advantages we are some of the advances we have observed in stone dusting. Okay, so let us see this stone dust. This is the advantages of stone dusting. Let us see how to prevent the explosion. Layer protection of coal dust explosion. 3-layer protection of coal dust explosion. How to control the coal dust explosion. So explosion isolation, explosion venting, automatic explosion suppression, explosion pressure resistant construction, electric apparatus for explosive atmospheres. So 3-layer protection of coal dust explosion is depicted in this diagram. So the first layer, the required conditions to induce explosion were considered in this layer, such as dust concentration, oxygen concentration, ignition source, and so on. The explosion pressure resistant construction was also included in this layer. This is the first layer. Second layer is if an exception occurred. In the first layer, automatic explosion suppression will be employed to further decrease the dust or oxygen concentration so that the flame propagation could be resisted. The third layer protection is if the exceptions in the first two layers happen at the same time, explosion venting system should be introduced to reduce the consequence of dust explosion, and explosion isolation system should also be considered to mitigate the situation from dust explosion. So this is called your 3-layer protection of coal dust explosion in coal mines. First layer is explosion isolation, explosion venting. Second layer is your automatic explosion suppression. Third layer is explosion pressure resistant construction, electric apparatus for explosive atmospheres. Okay, so this is the diagram which showed engineered technical measures with 3 layers protection, 3-layer protection of coal dust explosion. 3-layer protection of explosion. So how to prevention of the explosion? Prevention of explosion. So explosion, let us we have discussed about the explosion. Different type of explosions are there: coal dust explosion, methane explosion. Mechanism of explosion, how the explosion takes place, types of explosions, different type of explosion: coal dust explosion, methane explosion, and a third type of explosion, a mixture of coal dust explosion and methane explosion, prevention of explosion, explosion protection plan, explosion control measures. Let us see. We have defined what is a coal mine explosion. In coal mines, there are hazards that are inherent to the coal seam and those that are introduced by the mining method. One of the most devastating events that can occur in a mine is an explosion. So this explosion, an explosion is a rapid increase in volume and release of energy in an extreme manner, usually with the generation of high temperature and release of gases. Having an explosion in an underground coal mine can result in the loss of personnel and the loss of mine itself or a significant portion of it. What is the mechanism of explosion? We have discussed. For an explosion to take place, 4 main elements must coexist. These are 4 things. There are, for an explosion to occur, 4 main elements must coexist. These are fuel, oxygen, energy source, and chemical chain reaction. Okay. So the mechanism of explosion, fuel. First thing is your fuel. In coal mines, it is coal. The most common fuel sources for explosions in underground coal mines are flammable gases and explosive dust. Your flammable gas is a methane gas and explosive dust is a coal dust. In coal mining, flammable gases can be present as a seam gas or produced as a result of oxidation or distillation of coal. The extraction process can generate fine coal dust that could provide sufficient fuel for an explosion to take place. Second important ingredient necessary for the explosion is oxygen. Ventilation air is supplied to the mine atmosphere to support life and to provide oxygen for internal combustion engines. Dilute and render gases harmless and to provide comfortable working environment by removing heat, dust and humidity. An airflow between 7 and 20 cubic meter per second with an emission of 1000 liter per second would create an explosive mixture. The third important ingredient necessary for the explosion to take place is energy source, igniting source, ignition source. The energy sources that are found in and around mines are numerous. They are diesel and mechanical equipment, explosives, electrical infrastructure and equipment, frictional ignitions. We have discussed about different types of frictional ignitions, friction between metals and metals, friction between metal and rock, friction between rock and rock. So the fourth element is chemical chain reaction. The effects of changing pressure on the auto ignition temperature and the widening of the flammable range with elevated temperatures. These relate to the continuance of a chemical chain reaction that transfers energy throughout the mixture. If the amount of energy that is transferred into the adjoining unreacted mixture is insufficient, then the reaction will cease in that direction, even though it may be within the flammable range. The above fuels, ignition sources, and airflow can, in the right condition of coexistence, form a flammable or explosive atmosphere. If undetected, the byproducts of fire may be carried throughout the mine or tunnel workings, creating the potential for a deadly atmosphere, either not fit for respiration or explosive or both. There are three types of explosion we have seen: methane explosion, coal dust explosion. Another type also we have not discussed, which is very rare, water gas explosion. So methane explosion is methane forms in coal seam as the result of chemical reactions taking place when the coal was buried at depth. Methane occurs in much higher concentrations in coal than other rock types because of the adsorption process, which enables methane molecules to be packed into the coal interstices, gaps or spaces to a density almost resembling that of a liquid. Methane explosion. Methane is a flammable gas when mixed with oxygen in a wide range of concentrations, but generally between 5 to 15% methane in air by volume. The auto-ignition temperature of methane is 537 degrees centigrade. Methane explosions are characterized by two distinct operations: direct blast, backlash. This we have discussed in the previous classes. What is a direct blast? What is a backlash? Coal dust explosion also we have discussed. coal dust is finely divided matter smaller than 100 micrometer and of low mass. We have discussed a great about the coal dust explosion. This coal dust explosion in a methane explosion, if enough wind pressure is created, the coal dust is raised into the air, mine air, and redistributed, potentially igniting a more deadly secondary coal dust explosion. So this coal dust is present at dust cloud, and a source of ignition in the form of flame must be present for the coal dust explosion to take place. Conditions for coal dust explosion we have seen in the previous classes also. A combustible dust, the dust is suspended in the mine air at a proper concentration. There should be an oxidant, dust should be confined, then only the coal dust explosion is going to take place. Ignition criteria: burning embers and agglomerates, self-heating, impact, friction, electrical equipment, fire damp explosions. Factors affecting coal dust explosion we have discussed: particle size, dustiness, volatile matter, percentage of mass, oxygen concentration, nature, intensity of ignition source. So, most important thing, how to prevent the explosion. Explosion protection plan. The fire and explosion risk assessment process will have identified the potential fire and explosion hazards present, the risks they give rise to, and the measures necessary to avoid and control those risks. The explosion protection plan required by Regulation 4 of the Mines Miscellaneous Health and Safety Provisions Regulations 1995 will need to set out those measures to be taken to prevent an explosive atmosphere occurring, to explode or control potential sources of ignition. In the event of an explosive atmosphere of any type occurring, or where the concentration of flammable gas in the mine air exceeds the legal limits, to mitigate the consequences if an explosion occurs. Explosion protection plan: the measures which will need to be set out in the plan may include fire damp drainage arrangements to control emissions of fire damp from the strata and waste areas, ventilation arrangements, both main and auxiliary, to control the level of fire damp in the atmosphere and prevent explosive atmospheres occurring in the mines. Arrangements for monitoring and detection of dangerous levels of fire damp by the use of portable automatic fire damp detectors at suitable places. Arrangements for automatically cutting off power supplies, etc. These fall into 6 broad categories: zoning of the workplace, selection of suitable equipment, prevention of explosive atmosphere, de-energizing equipment in explosive or potential explosive atmospheres, control of other ignition sources, degassing operation. These are the explosion control measures. Zoning is the only basis from which they can identify equipment appropriate for use in particular circumstances. The zones where different types of explosive atmospheres, gas, dust, vapor, mist could occur may not be the same and may not even overlap. So it will be necessary to zone for each type of potential explosive atmosphere. The selection of suitable equipment, the categories of the explosion protected equipment, the way these categories are to be used in explosive and potentially explosive atmospheres. Explosive atmosphere being formed by either gas, mist, vapor, flammable dust, type of explosion protected equipment. Equipment for use in explosive atmospheres below ground. When an explosive atmosphere of any kind exists, only category M1 equipment or equipment previously approved to remain energized is permitted because of its very high level of protection. While cap lamps are categorized as category M2, a mines rescue team could be allowed to wear them in an explosive atmosphere for a short period of time to save their life. Equipment for use in potential explosive atmospheres. where a potential explosive atmosphere exists, both M1 and M2 equipment and their equivalents may be used. Preventing an explosive atmosphere occurring in your mines. The principal measures to prevent the buildup of an explosive atmosphere are ventilation systems, fire dam drainage for explosive gas atmospheres, removing flammable dust from the mine atmosphere, where flammable dust is likely to settle, maintaining a sufficient proportion of incombustible dust in mine fluids, de-energizing equipment used in potential explosive atmospheres in mines. If the concentration of fire damp in the general body of mine air exceeds 1.25%, the only electrical equipment that should remain energized is that which is both safe for use in an explosive atmosphere and is necessary to secure the safety of the people in the mine. The equipment and protective systems intended for use in potential explosive atmospheres, Regulation 1996 require all category of M2 equipment, both electrical and non-electrical, to be de-energized when the atmosphere changes from being potentially explosive to explosive. Control of other ignition sources, naked lights. Section 62 of the Mines and Quarries Act 1952 prohibits the use of lights other than permitted lights in all mines where there is a risk of an explosive atmosphere occurring, and Section 67 prohibits the use in such mines of equipment designed or adapted to produce an unprotected flame or spark inside the mines. Where there are frictional ignition risks, owners and managers will need to take appropriate preventive and protective measures, including adequate ventilation, water ignition suppression systems such as peak back flushing, equipment design. Certain types of peaks and peak configurations are less likely to produce incentive sparks than others. Degassing operations. Mine owners and managers should design the mine layout, driveway sequence, and mining systems to minimize the opportunity for dangerous concentration of flammable gas to accumulate and avoid the need to degas. Managers should, in particular, avoid unventilated single entries and in seams where an explosive atmosphere will form quickly, to have standby systems such as venturi that operate if the auxiliary fans stop. So this is all about today's class: stone dust explosion and how the stone dust can be used to control this stone dust explosion, and what are the measures to be taken to control the methane gas explosion and stone dust explosion. Thank you. Thank you for your patient hearing. Have a good day. Thank you.